In yesterday's Lunch Alert, if you missed it, you can catch it on dickmorris.com and watch it. I raised the question, which is buzzing now around Washington, of was there a mole that was planted in the Trump campaign by the FBI with the goal of finding anything out about Russian collusion and also with the goal of setting up intelligence traps for Trump campaign people to get them to talk about what was going on with Russia, or to embellish what may have been going on with Russia. And when Nunes and Gowdy, the chairman of the Oversight and Intel Committee, subpoenaed the FBI and demanded that they give them the information about the mole, the FBI refused to do it and said it might endanger international relations, complicate a current investigation, and endanger people's lives. The House persisted, and they said that they'll move to hold the FBI in contempt and perhaps impeach Rosenstein. That brought the FBI around, and they had a private meeting with Nunes and Gowdy to give them that information. We don't know the results yet. But the question is, did the British start this entire scandal? We know that Christopher Steele, the guy who wrote the dossier, was a former MI6 operative. But in our book, Rogue Spooks, which if you haven't read, please do, we raise the point for the first time, were the Brits behind all of this? What were the Brits up to? Let me give you some of the evidence. It was the British in September 15, year and a half before the election, who first got to the FBI and the CIA and told them of the possibility of Russian hacking of the Democratic computers. And during the whole campaign, MI6 and GCHQ, which is sort of their NSA, constantly fed the FBI information about Russian hacking. Steele, as I mentioned, was a former British agent. The Russians once said there is no such thing as a former MI6 employee. They all remain on MI6. It was Steele, the British spy, who went to the FBI without telling his American clients 1 month at the month of the Democratic Convention to tell them about the dossier. And former British ambassador to Russia, Sir Andrew Wood, who was involved with Steele's company, was one of the people who helped contribute to the dossier, it is alleged, and who loudly praised Steele in the dossier after it was released. It was in London that an associate of John McCain, the senator, got a copy of the dossier and got it back to the United States to give it to Comey. Many uncontradicted reports say that Steele gave a copy of the dossier to MI6. It was a former colleague of Steele who, along with Wood, offered a virtual echo chamber to the press about Steele's credibility. The director of MI6, the British equivalent of the CIA, Alex Younger, used notes from Steele's dossier in his first public speech since he was appointed. 2 weeks after the dossier was released, and 3 days after Trump's inauguration, Robert Hannigan, the popular director of GCHQ, the NSA in Britain, abruptly resigned, citing family illnesses, giving only 6 hours' notice. The media reported his sudden resignation prompted speculation that it might be related to British concerns over shared intel with the U.S. in the wake of Trump becoming president. He may have known about this whole deal and didn't want to stay in office to have to talk about it. And then, after the dossier was released, MI6 issued a D notice, which is a government directive that prevents publication for national security reasons of a certain news story, including protecting the identity of former and current British spies. In Steele's case, the D notice requested that all media refrain from reporting anything at all about Steele for 9 hours, enough time for him to escape from London. So there is considerable evidence that the Brits were deeply involved in this. In Rogue Spooks, we say there was a foreign country that tried to influence the U.S. election, but it wasn't Russia, it was Britain. Why were the British so concerned about Russia and so anxious to get this scandal to impede Trump's election? First of all, Trump alienated them by strongly supporting Brexit, that the British establishment opposed and still is scared to death of. Secondly, Trump had talked about undermining NATO and by demanding increased defense contributions from our European allies. And they saw the Cold War much more intensively than we do, because a lot of the Russian emigres and oligarchs came to London. It's now got more billionaires per capita than any other place in the world. And in fact, one of the assassinations of a Russian and British double agent by the Russians took place in London. Coincidentally, the British handler from MI6 that handled the Russian double agent was Christopher Steele. So there's all kinds of reasons why Britain might have gotten deeply involved. So we need to see further digging, and please get a copy of Rogue Spooks, ROGUESPOOKS. You can get it from Amazon or BarnesandNobles.com. And this whole thing may have been imported from London. Thanks for watching.